Kevin, what do you have to say about the people saying Amazon FBA is dead because it's too competitive now and products can't be found? I mean, I did a video on this recently, Alex. That's just so unbelievably not true. I mean, I did a video just yesterday that I'm gonna share. Basically like a 10-minute sprint showing how many different types of products, how many different niches you can explore, all in like a really short amount of time, and how many products you can find that have serious potential. And I literally did it within 10 minutes. Like if you know what you're doing, if you're utilizing the strategies that I talk about, using bestsellers lists, using subcategories of the main categories, right? Looking at Amazon Launchpad, starting from the back of the bestsellers list, and just going down the rabbit holes of what these sellers have in their storefronts, looking at other products that they have besides maybe their bestsellers that are on these best-selling lists. Taking a look at Jungle Scout, the web app, sometimes a lot of people are looking at the same things. That's why I asked Greg that question last week. With everyone using the same filters and everyone kind of, looking at the same things, how can we know that we're not all pursuing the same products? And that does happen a lot, right? It happened first with fidgets. When I found them 5 months ago, nobody knew about them. But as people started to see how well these little things were selling with so few reviews, they were the perfect size, non-breakable, cost nothing to manufacture, then everyone kind of jumped in, and then everyone, oversaturated the market to a point where now there's a lot of people who are just sitting on, hundreds, if not thousands of these fidget spinners. And so that's why I always talk about, I don't go for the products that make $50,000 a month or $100,000 a month, right? Because that brings with it, a ton of other people who want that same thing. And when that happens, it obfuscates the 100,000 that I would be making by myself into 10 different people's shares, which is all of a sudden 10, and then 20 is down to 5, and then when 100 people come in, all of us only get 1,000 each, right? And it's just not where you want to be. So that's why I like to focus on those like mid-tier products that are making between $5,000 to $7,000 and $15,000, where it's making enough to make it worth it for you, right? But it's not making so much that it attracts all of these competitors. Some of them are based out of China, and it's just not where you want to be. It's a long answer to your question. I just started getting everything set up for my company. Good for you, full of rock dents. Considering the course, do you teach product research methods other than Jungle Scout? Yeah, I definitely do, Asan. I mean, I talk about, there's different websites out there that can give you a lot of insight into product research, right? Eventually, you like to look on Amazon because with so many different products out there, there's just not a huge gain to be made with going into a product that isn't like at least somewhat proven on Amazon, right? Because even if it's selling great elsewhere, it has to be selling on Amazon for you to be able to make money selling it on Amazon. So I mean, for example, I mean, some of you guys have heard about Wish.com. So Wish.com is basically a huge e-commerce site, and you can actually, there's some tricks to make it, some clever tricks to be able to see what's popular in other countries potentially before it comes to the USA, which is a great way of kind of being on the up and coming front edge of these trends, right? If you're looking at Wish Asia, or you're looking at Wish Japan, or you're looking at Wish India, or whatever it is, right? You can see the ethnicities and demographics of people who reside in the market that you're selling, and then you can think about, well, if there's 30% of people that are this race or ethnicity in the USA, then maybe I should be catering products towards them when everyone else is thinking about products for white people or whatever the majority is in a country. So it's always about thinking outside the box. Wish.com is a great one. Shut Up and Take My Money has a bunch of cool novelty items that are great, right? You can find manufacturers who make these, and then you can see what else they're selling. You can always ask your manufacturers, what are the hot items that are selling. I would never go into this specific niche that might be a hot seller that your supplier would tell you about, but you can figure out things from that, and you can add value to that specific product, or you can you can create like a horizontally related product, or just dive into the specific niche that is selling somewhat well. Sorry, every time somebody makes a new comment, it like resets my feed, so I'm trying not to miss any. How do Amazon track the reviews of friends and family? I mean, they do it in a number of different ways. Unfortunately, I know for a fact because I've tested and actually gotten a policy warning on one of my accounts. Amazon 100% has the capability of um, knowing who you're friends with on Facebook and tracing reviews via this method. So I always recommend, if people are going to, violate TOS and get their first reviews from friends and family, make sure you're not friends on Facebook. You have 0 shared addresses, names, last names, no connection of any kind, any credit cards, any past addresses, none of that. And that's if you're going to break terms of service, which I obviously never recommend. And you don't have to anymore, right? Because with Amazon's early reviewer program, it's $60 for 5 reviews, from 0 to 5, right? And anyone is eligible for that program if they have between 0 and 5 reviews, and the product is over $15. So I mean, you might as well take advantage of that. Do you teach any stuff on getting the company started? What do you mean by that? Full of rock dents. What is the best way to estimate what shipping from overseas? Do you have to get a quote when researching if a product is viable? The net profit is likely. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the hardest parts. That's a great question, GT Raider. I mean, there is no great way, right? The only good way to do it is once you have like the metrics. The only good way to accurately do it is once you have the metrics related to how many cartons you have and the weight of those cartons, right? Because then you can get quotes from Freightos. And Freightos, for those of you who don't know, is basically like a shipping freight forwarder aggregation website where you can get multiple quotes from different freight forwarders on the same exact metrics to see kind of what comes cheaper. And I do list my personal freight forwarders, who one of which we actually overwhelmed because we were giving her so much business. So I had to find and make a deal with a larger freight forwarding company to give all of my students the deepest discounts as far as freight forwarding goes. So you can go into the common questions document, and you can take a look that way. Oh, that's you, Robert. Nice. Finn, I see your face. Yeah, but does that answer your question, Robert? I think it should. But I mean, the real answer is, if you want to have a incredibly general estimate, completely generalized, I estimate that every $1 of cost of goods sold is $1 of shipping, and that's wildly general. I want you guys to realize that, right? Because you could be shipping feathers or you could be shipping bowling balls, and it's incredibly different. But with no other data, I like to assume that every $1 of COGS is $1 of shipping, and I base my very, very first estimates on that. How can I manipulate the frequently bought together section so my products show up on my competitors' products? I mean, this is a great question, Streamboxes. I know. I mean, without getting to black box, the way that it was done until like literally 2 days ago was using the external benefits, right? And you'd set up like a upsell that says, if you buy one of this ASIN, you buy one of this ASIN, right? And so then that links 2 of your own products, and then they appear in the frequently bought together section of your own Amazon product listing. The way to do this now, unfortunately, now that Amazon literally a couple days ago disabled the external benefits section, is using the product display ads through AMS, right? So through the Amazon Marketing Services, they have a advertising type called product display ads, and what this means is you're actually advertising in the buy box of a competitor, right? So if somebody clicks into a garlic press, then as they're scrolling down, they're seeing the bullets, they're seeing everything else. They see a little ad in in the bottom right corner of your competitor's product listing that links to your product. So if people are buying your product, having gone to that listing, Amazon's A9 algorithm will start associating the sale of your product with that other product, and then you'll start to, like, over time be shown in the frequently bought together section. It's a very complicated question, so I hope I answered that slightly, but it has changed very recently. Streamboxes TV. Where can we find good suppliers in the U.S.? I mean, realistically, the only place you can find good suppliers in the U.S. right now is ThomasNet. So I think it's a common myth actually that people think that there's no way that an American supplier can compete with a supplier on Alibaba on price, and that's actually not true. You should definitely check ThomasNet, right? Because you have to take in a variety of variables. Yes, on a per unit cost, it would be very difficult for a U.S. manufacturer to compete with China. But you're also shipping the products in China halfway across the world, and that lead time of shipping, it's 25 days or more sometimes by sea. Taking that out of the equation, taking the shipping costs out of the equation, you can really save a lot of money in certain ways manufacturing in the USA. And not only that, you can also test products much easier, right? Because USA manufacturers have significantly lower minimum order quantities than Alibaba manufacturers in China or wherever, whichever Alibaba's facing site you're using, right? So you can try new products with an order of 50 or 100 with a US manufacturer that you just really no manufacturer in China would do, because it's not worth their time. So that's the answer to that. When shipping your product to FBA in Canada, does Amazon still provide a really good shipping rate like it does for the US? Michael, actually, to be honest, I don't know the answer to that. I've never ground shipped in Canada. If anyone else has done that, leave it in the comments to answer Michael's question. Alexander Rizal, I'm getting your course real soon. That's a promise. Much appreciated. Hey, man, I appreciate you too. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of questions. Hold on, sorry. Is home and kitchen gated? No, it's not, Mike. I saw that PM too. Sorry, I usually respond, but I was doing a live stream. How do we know whether that product is a mid-scale product making 5 to 15K a month, or whether it's that 100K a month product just being down from you? Oh, okay. I mean, Goran, there's a couple ways you can tell, right? You can look at the date that the listing started, right? So if it's an older listing and you see a bunch of manufacturers that have come in that have newer listings, you could probably tell that that was the original 100K a monther that's now been diluted by all these other people kind of jumping in, right? You can age of listings is definitely a good one. Google Trends is another way that you can tell, right? If you see a big spike 2 months ago, and then now all of a sudden there's 20 new listings that have been made in the last 2 weeks or whatever, then you can tell that that's probably on the trough of the initial trend, rather than being an up and comer or a steady stable product at that 5 to 15K range, the sweet spot that I do like to look for. Do you frequently browse other markets like EU to find other potential products? Yeah, definitely, Trevor. And I mean, that's a good way to do it, right? Because it's important to note that not every market is the same. Like people in England might drink more tea than people in the USA, right? And people in the USA might like American flag significantly more than people in other markets. So you can't always go apples to apples in that. But if you are able to figure out those trends between markets, right, using Wish, using Google Trends, using a variety of different sources that I talk about in the course, it's a way that you can be on the front end of the trend, right? You can order enough units to kind of have enough stock to sell out. But the people who are smartest about the fidgets ordered big at the beginning, bet big on the data, and then didn't reorder, right? Because they knew that the fads of toys come and go so quickly, and then they basically made $100,000 and then they stopped, right? They didn't reorder and they have no inventory sitting. They just caught the wave, they rode it, and then they moved on, right? So it's always a balance. I'm attempting to create a listing in that category, but it's not popping up for me. Would you know why? Mike, we can talk about that after. I mean, it shouldn't be. Kevin, I have 3 potential products making like 40 plus sales daily. Just the problem I see, there's like 13 people selling the same product, and in Camel the sales rank is 2 up and down. Like there's 13 people on the listing itself and they're sharing the buy box, or there's like 13 different product listings from different sellers and they're still making 40 plus sales a day, right? Because Caesar, the reason that I tell people to take the average, watching the itraq 999 or the Jungle Scout product tracker, to take the average of the top 5 or even top 10 if they're really serious about going into a product, is to see whether or not it's just one seller getting the lion's share of all the sales, or if people are actually splitting the sales. So you want to see people splitting the sales. It says I'm offline. You want to see people splitting the sales in like the overall top 10, right? Because you want to, if you're coming in as a new seller, then you want to make sure that you can take a piece of that pie and not just kind of be left out. Wow, there's a lot of questions coming in. Dark Archives, Conor McGregor or Floyd Mayweather? I mean, unfortunately, nobody's going to beat Floyd Mayweather. He's mastered boxing. Conor McGregor is going to try really hard to knock him out in the first like round or two, and then the differential in boxing, boxing conditioning versus MMA conditioning is going to come out as it gets into the later rounds, and Floyd's just going to win in a decision, how he always does. I'm attempting to create a list. Okay. Are you relying on Jungle Scout now for the 30-day average for replacing the itraq, or is itraq still the best method? Chris, I did a 2-week trial experiment to like make sure that the data was close enough to move over. So I actually, and I announced this in my student groups to save everyone time, I am now using the product tracker to show true sales data, but the one caveat to that is for 3 days before I actually take the final dive, commit in, start sourcing, do all of that, I do manually track it still, just to be absolutely sure. So I do do a 3-day manual tracking, but yes, the product tracker has officially replaced the itraq 999 method. So hopefully I can save you guys time. This is why I'm broke is better than shut up and take my money. Yeah, I've used that one too. Email follow-up services still work. I heard that it is kind of risky. It's not risky, but I mean Amazon evolves, right? They don't care about us. They don't care about third-party software. All they care about and all they've ever cared about is their customers, right? And so they're really, Amazon's always going to evolve. People were taking advantage of the upsell method. It was getting overwhelming having every checkout page, with an upsell trying to sell 20% off for like 3 more products. And so Amazon removed it, and they don't care at all, and they never will care. That's just how it is, and that's how it's always going to be. It's their world, and we're basically just selling in it. But to answer your question, no, it's not risky. Yes, it does still work, but more and more customers on Amazon are opting out of it because they just prefer not to receive those follow-up emails. And so, whether or not that's still around in 6 months, I don't know, but I'd be surprised if it was. Why do you think my manual phase match 1 camp isn't working well? Oscar, I would need about 100 million times more data to be able to answer that question. But reach out to me and we can talk about it. For people who leave you seller feedback instead of a review, let's say you email them and they don't answer, would you then message them through the buyer seller system? Chris, you should never email Amazon customers outside of Amazon. So you should always email them only and exclusively through the buyer seller messaging system. So whenever, I have my virtual assistant go through and actually message these people, I basically have them message them once, and then if people are willing, then they'll show it and they'll respond and they'll leave a product review instead of the seller review. And if they don't respond, then I never reach out to them again because you don't want to annoy people. Kevin, please confirm the keyword ranking by running ads with super URL no longer works, and people get suspended by doing this. People don't necessarily get suspended by doing this, William, but I mean, if you look in an Amazon URL, right, like just search garlic press or whatever you want to do, click any listing, wait 1 minute, and then do the exact same thing. Search garlic press, click the same listing, copy and paste both of the URLs into a Word document. You'll notice that the URLs themselves are exactly the same except for one thing. And the one thing that's different about those URLs is a Unix timestamp which reads QID. And so basically what this is Amazon's way of disabling super URL keyword manipulation by time stamping each URL. So if people are clicking these URLs that are keyword stuffed, which is what a super URL is, if the timestamp doesn't match up with Amazon's internal clock, then Amazon basically reads this as manipulation and then disregards the keyword ranking that super URLs used to give. If you have a product for a while and then update it, e.g. stronger material, battery life, should you create a new FN SKU for the new version or change the existing version to the new specs? Bjorn, you absolutely should create a new listing and a new UPC and a new FN SKU for this, and market it as new and improved, upgraded 2017, right? You never want to add quality without marketing the absolute heck out of it. So definitely create a new listing. Kevin, your opinion on competitors that come in using black hat tactics like 300 verified, unverified reviews with only 30 days on the market? I mean, it's annoying, right? Because you could cheat and you could get more sales and you could make more money, but eventually Amazon's going to get you, right? So the people who are manipulating the system like this are eventually it's going to catch up to them. So my opinion is do it the right way, build a real business, build something that is actually going to be sustainable and not going to get you suspended one time out of the blue. It's not worth it to me to always be consciously, consistently worrying about that. I'd rather just, be happy and do what I'm supposed to do. Let me make sure that people aren't asking questions in the other place. Okay. What are your opinions on the Amazing Seller Machine? I mean, they do an okay job. I mean, I've did my research before I made my own course. What other people were offering, how in depth, whether or not they were actually going into their Seller Central accounts, showing you these step-by-step tutorials, and just no one else is doing that. Everyone else's trainings is very high level. It's just more hypothetical, talking about what you should be doing, talking about how to set up a PPC campaign, talking about how to set up a listing, but nobody's actually doing it in their own accounts, sharing their screens, because it's a lot more difficult from, a coaching or mentor perspective to do that, because you have to, blank out all of your seller names, and, it's just a more difficult process from like a pragmatic standpoint. And so, if you want like a high level summary, I personally would just never pay for that. If I'm gonna pay for a training, I want it to be, nitty gritty in the trenches, like showing you exactly how people are doing things, how to rank, how to, make badass PPC campaigns, how to create optimized listings and things like that. So, check it out for yourself. I don't ever bash on other courses. They just aren't personally for me. Silly question, but when you find a manufacturer, how much can you change the product from what they offer and what you want? Let's say example, a water bottle design. Alex, I mean, customizations are, they happen all the time. If you think about it from like if you own the factory, right, in China, and you make water bottles, right, there's the raw materials, whether or not you can change plastic into metal, whether or not you source those raw materials from a manufacturing perspective, you'll never know what people can or can't do from a customization perspective unless you ask, right? And a lot of times manufacturers, depending on what their specialty is, they'll charge you these really high rates for like custom molds and things like that. And so if you're sure on a design and you're sure that this new improvement that you're going to make is going to make like a huge difference and you're going to kill it, then maybe it's worth it to pay that molding fee. But ask your manufacturers, because you'll never know, and maybe you'll message 10 and one will say, yeah, we can do it. Then if they have a competitive price compared to the other ones, then jump in. Question, planning to sell in Amazon Europe, should I join as an individual seller or as a company? I mean, you can do either, right? I mean, if you do an individual seller, you don't get charged until you become a professional seller. But if you're an individual seller, selling on FBA doesn't make sense at all, because you get charged a per unit cost for fulfillment that the professional seller doesn't. The professional seller has a monthly fee. But I mean, if you sign up as a professional seller or a company seller, how you put it, Clock, it doesn't matter, because Amazon is incredibly lenient on refunding the professional seller fees, especially before you even have inventory. Like, they understand that people sign up as a company, but like it takes them 1, 2, 3 months to get their inventory in. And so Amazon's obviously, a huge company. If you just reach out on a quick chat ticket and say, hey, would you guys mind refunding these 3 months? I didn't know I was getting charged for it. I just wanted to wait until I had inventory in to start paying the professional seller fees. Then they'll be cool with that. So I've done that, for 6 months at a time. Oh my gosh, there's so many questions now. Hold on, sorry, I'm trying not to miss any. Okay. If you're near the top of page 1 for a keyword, do you still run an exact match campaign and bid high enough so you show up twice on page 1? This is a good question, Chris. I mean, there's different opinions out there. My personal data that I've found doing this exact thing, and what for people who don't understand this question, he's asking, should you run PPC ads if you're in organic position, top 3? So like when someone loads a web page, right, there's a certain number of Amazon listings that appear in that initial window, right? And if you're in one of those positions, should you still be running PPC ads to appear twice on the listing? And the answer from my data that I've run personally, because I had this exact same question, Chris, is a resounding yes. You absolutely should run PPC even if you are in organic position 1, 2, or 3, or however many show up on a normal web window. So yes, absolutely you should. I know it kind of seems counterintuitive, but people see 2 of the same product and they click it. It's just some weird little thing. And that's just how it is. Keanu, if I do the monthly payments, do I get access to the full course? Absolutely. Yeah, we offer payment plans. We're trying to make it affordable for everyone, right? We understand that not everybody has the upfront capital to, afford a full course and then also buy their inventory, right? And so we introduced a 3-month and a 4-month payment plan to kind of spread out that cost for people to try to make it affordable for everyone. But if you do sign up for any of the membership plans or the monthly plans, you immediately have access to the full course. You immediately have access to the full course private Facebook group, where I'm answering things every single day, everyone's questions. So yeah. Streamboxes TV says that's a cool shirt. It looks expensive. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I had these made. I'm giving some out just for one of the questions that I asked the other day in some of the Facebook groups about the immortal snail. I'm going to ship both of those guys who got the most likes for their comments a Lifestyle Ninja t-shirt. So if you guys like it, then, I'm glad, because me too. Do you do a pre-shipment inspection when working with American suppliers? If so, do you have any good recommendations for this? Chris, I actually don't use inspections in the USA. You can get a lot of value out of a video chat, right? Like an HD video chat. Looking at their facility, does it look clean? Do they look legit? Have they been around for a while, right? Do they have a good, solid history? Do you feel trust when you speak to the sales representative you're talking to? And then getting like a good, picture set and an HD quality video stream in the USA, that's enough for me. I just have more faith in the US manufacturing scene, especially ones that I pick out and have, a very solid history. Chris, is the reason for no sales due to poor product choice? I'm not sure on that one because I think they're talking to someone else. What's a good profit margin what's a good profit margin you look for? I think you meant, anything. It depends, right? Because if you're selling a ton of units a day, 30% might be all right, 35%, right? But I like to look personally for 50% because it gives you 50% or higher. My first product sets were at around a little bit over 64% profit margin before PPC, right? And then I was running huge PPC campaigns because I had such a big profit margin that it didn't really matter. And then all the PPC money, even if it was coming up to 64% ACoS, right, it was generating me a ton more traffic. And when you get more traffic from the PPC sales, when people are navigating to your page, right, and you're getting keyword rank, when people click on those ads for that specific keyword that they did input, then it's going to get you a ton more organic sales and organic rank. And that's the important part, right? When you're getting those huge organic sales numbers from the PPC, even if you're not profitable directly from PPC, which I obviously don't recommend, but people are always like, yeah, well, my profit margin is 50% and my ACoS is 50%, so I'm not making any money. That's actually not true necessarily because your PPC campaigns have a huge indirect impact on your organic sales, on your organic rank, on your keyword rank. And as you're ranking in those keywords, you're getting a ton more eyes. And when you get more organic eyes, you get more organic sales. And it just basically snowballs from there. Connor has no chance. Yeah, unfortunately. I'd love to see Floyd Mayweather get knocked out. I just can't. I couldn't even imagine what he would look like if he got knocked out. He's literally never lost in his life. It'd be a hilarious scene. How many reviews would you say is competitive to jump in? I like to shoot for under 50. I mean, there's just so many random products out there, you guys. There's millions. Amazon has millions and tens, 50 million, 100 million products, right? And there's new products getting added every day, right? There's new habits and hobbies that come out with CrossFit, how it came out, and yoga, right? And the people who recognize those new trends and those new hobbies that people had and put the first yoga mats up, that just made thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Because they recognized the trend They recognized the hobby, they proved the demand with data, and then they were there first, right? And so those are the people who are making the big bucks. So 50 or less is what I like to look for. I wish to sell glass items. Would I private label by putting my own labels on them when I receive them? Can I pack them separately and put them all in one bigger box with a separate label on each box? I mean, there's case packed and there's individual packed. If it's all the same glass items, right? If it's like a wine glass and they're all exactly the same, you can put them all in one box, right? And then you have one carton label on that box, and then each individual wine glass, the packaging itself has your FNSKU, right? So it has the actual label. Is it necessary to create an LLC prior to becoming an Amazon seller? Can I be an FBA seller as an individual if I'm only going to carry a few products? Leslie, yeah, you can, but I mean, FBA, the whole point of FBA is to scale, right? So like you have Amazon fulfill them because you don't want to be going to UPS 100 times a day because you sold 100 products in one day, right? And so if you sell as an individual, you get charged a per item fee, which doesn't make sense when you are on the scale that FBA allows you to be, right? You don't want to be selling 1 or 2 products a day. You want to be selling 100 products a day, 10 products a day, 50 products a day, you know, whatever scale you're at, however many different products you're at, right? So selling as an individual just doesn't make sense if you are planning to, you know, take advantage of the scale that Amazon allows you to take advantage of. Do sellers need a license to use an American flag or Canadian flag on their merchandise? That's a good question, Charmin. I don't know the answer to it. You'd probably have to, you know, contact a copyright lawyer, which I have, you know, multiple contacts for in the groups, in the student group. So if you want me to, you know, reach out to someone for you, let me know. Is no sales due to poor product choice? Jai, I mean, I'd need more information to answer that, but it could be for sure. Please go over bundling. Do we get the bundling product from the same supplier or a new one, and does Amazon bundle when sending out? No, Amazon does nothing, Zayshawn, nothing. All they do is scan a barcode and put the item in a box and send it out to UPS. So I get this question kind of a lot. Amazon doesn't do anything for you. You can pay them to sticker, you can pay them to do certain things, but don't ever think that Amazon's gonna do anything for you because they're basically not. So you can get the same product from the same supplier, right? That's obviously better. It's easier. You only have to correspond with one person if they manufacture both of the products that you want to bundle, right? If they don't manufacture the same both products that you want to bundle, then you have to deal with 2 manufacturers. And so people ask me all the time, so if you're bundling products from 2 different manufacturers, how do you do it? Whichever manufacturer I trust more, you know, I feel we have a better relationship, more rapport, they're more professional, I've seen their factory, it looks like very nice. I use them as the final assembler, right? So I'll have manufacturer B send their products to manufacturer A. Manufacturer A will produce their own products, right? And so now manufacturer A has both B and A. They assemble A and B to create C, right? We send Amazon FBA C that has the one barcode for both products, right? Because you're selling them as a set, and that's how you send it into Amazon. I hear coffee mugs are a good business. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, coffee mugs and T-shirts are some of the oldest, you know, e-commerce stuff out there, and they've been around for a while. Any idea if I can trust JScout when products are $9.99 plus, but JScout shows regular sales occurring? How can it tell and be trusted? Thoughts? This is a great question again. I mean, the answer to this question is by using the BSR algorithmic estimations. So the data when they have more than 1,000 in stock is significantly less accurate than when they do have less than 1,000 in stock. So it'll use the BSR sales charts that you're seeing on the Camel sales charts to estimate based on the BSR ranking of that specific subcategory to estimate how many sales it thinks are being done each day, right? Instead of giving you an actual accurate estimate how it does if the seller has less than 1,000. I checked in the extension, and I'm doing the 999 track with 3 products. So you recommend me to track like the top 5? Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're gonna commit, 1, 2, 3 months of your life and thousands of dollars of your money, do a little bit extra work. Like when I'm gonna dive into a product, I'll track the top 10 organic, right? And then I'll make an average. Maybe the person in 1 selling 10, The person in number 2 is selling 5, right? I'll add up all 1 through 10, and then I'll divide by 10 to see how many on average of the top 10 sellers are selling per day, rather than just 1 or 2 or 3, right? Because it's a big commitment. What are some good Blackhat SEO strategies that you don't use? I mean, I don't use any, so I wouldn't know. I'm an angel. Considering trying a product in Amazon.cad, do you think it has potential? Found a few decent products doing 4 to 5 a month in revenue. Yeah, I mean, Amazon Canada has definitely has potential. I mean, I know the USA market significantly better. The Amazon market in the USA is incredibly larger than anywhere else, right? People have been around Amazon. It's been like a daily thing that people have been hearing about for 20 plus years now. So people are very used to using it here, and in other markets they're not as used to using it. So I always recommend the USA. Oh my gosh. Okay, we have like 100 questions that I haven't gotten to yet, so I'm gonna answer things a little bit faster now. Do you think you can do well if you just sell the same product to someone else without differentiating at all? Goran, no, I would never recommend this, right? You want to create value and you want to build a business, right? You don't want to just copy someone. Even if you could get a few sales, it's just not the long-term model. I'm using the JS product tracker to track my own product. It sells, it says 1 per day, and I'm actually doing 15. Yeah, William, we talked about this. Oh, okay. Sorry, I need to finish reading your question. I think it has to do with my limit on the number allowed to be purchased. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I actually showed Greg your ASIN the other day, and that's what we came about as the answer also. And so I was gonna reach out to you today, but sorry, I've just been a busy Friday. But yes, I agree, and that is what it is. Is the course going down after today for good? No, it's not going down today, Keanu. A lot of people have been asking me to keep it open. People who are, just trying to save enough money to be able to get into it. So I'm going to extend it for a little bit longer. But yes, we are going to close the course down for good sometime soon, right? So I always wanted to close it down as I felt that I was getting, overwhelmed and couldn't give everyone the one-on-one treatment that they deserve. And so eventually, in the near future, yes, I am going to shut it down, Keanu. But today is not the day. Hey Kevin, I'm going through the course and didn't see anything about packaging. Is it super important to have nice package for your product? Yeah, it depends, right? If you're selling a luxury product, or you want to take the premium aspect in that specific area, then you'd probably want to have premium packaging, right? Like think about Apple. They're the most luxurious brand, one of the most luxurious brands ever, and it comes in like a super sleek, like white and black, beautifully like minimalistic packaging, right? But if you buy like rubber bands or like toilet paper, then you obviously don't care at all, right? If it's a everyday item that people need regardless, packaging is not important. If you're going luxury, it is. There's a guy that's selling your course, and he said if he had to he'd buy. There's a guy that's selling a course, and he said if he had to buy a course, he'd buy yours. Oh, thanks. Tell me who he is. I'll say thanks to him. What do you live in? An apartment? Yeah, I do right now. I'm only in the U.S. for another month or two. Some of my best friends and I are going to go do the Kiwi experience in New Zealand and do Australia, the East Coast, for a while. So this is just temporary for the next couple months. How does Amazon charge me when I have created more campaigns and have the same keywords on each? Amazon actually has a very sophisticated system for preventing dual bidding on the same keywords in multiple campaigns, right? So if you have the exact same bid, it randomizes which term it chooses to show as that ad. If you have two of the exact same words, one has the higher, one has the lower bid, by default it chooses the higher bid. I'm new to all this and haven't made any money yet. I start school next month to get my associate's degree in digital marketing and business. Will these two majors help in this criteria? I mean, yeah, kind of. I have kind of a different or unique mentality about college. I had a lot of fun in college. I met some great people. If I was going to do it again, I'd probably just go into the internet, go into the, all of the different opportunities with e-commerce, with digital, with everything. I would have started right after high school. There's just so much opportunity. The internet can change someone's life overnight. It's just possible. I've seen it happen. I know it's possible. It's such a beautiful thing. College is important for a lot of people, right? And I wouldn't say it's the wrong choice, but just for me personally, I kind of wish that I would have started with all of this sooner, because I've just seen what the internet can do, how you can truly change people's lives so quickly and change your own life, as you're doing it, and it's just a truly passionately beautiful thing to me. Just got your course and have enough money to get inventory. It's time to start studying and working. Let's get it. All right, Ramen. Yeah, I'll see you soon. Yeah, and everybody who's in the student groups, be active, guys, because it's so important, right? We have such amazing students, and everyone's going through similar stuff, right? And so you can use each other, you can use each other's experience, right? Learn from each other. It's such an amazing thing when we get that collaboration in the student groups, and I love seeing it. If a manufacturer says they have lots of customers selling on Amazon, is that a bad thing because of competitors? Yeah, but I mean, manufacturers say a lot of stuff, that specific thing, I wouldn't, why would they say that? Because that would probably mean you'd be less likely to give them more sales. So maybe it is worth thinking about. But you can look at the data for yourself and make a decision based on that. I never listen to what anyone else says, right? If you always listen to what everyone else says, then you'll always get the same results, right? You want to find people that are doing different things, that are thinking outside the box, that are being creative, right? And then you want to add your own creativity to that. What should I do first to get into this business? Winston, I mean, the first thing is product research, right? The whole business model is based on choosing that perfect product, right? So dive in there. You can find a lot of free stuff on YouTube. If you're more interested in a course, I do have a module specifically on product research that you might want to check out. But I do a lot of product research for free on YouTube too if you're more on a budget. So, yeah. Thanks for answering my questions. As always, Kev, best coach/course. Thank you, Chris. You're my boy. Hey, Kevin, hoping to connect with you one day. Andy, hit me up, man. I always like talking to people. Floyd would never get knocked out. Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate, but it would be funny to see what happened. He'd probably, his brain would probably explode. What does it mean when researching products on Jungle Scout when you find a bestseller with no data or blank data? Sometimes that just means a server error, high definition. Try again in a few days, and if you're certain they're a bestseller and you can't get any product data to load, shoot Jungle Scout support a message and they'll get you an answer. How do you manage Amazon marketing services and how much do you spend there? I spend a ton because I have Amazon Marketing Services is an unbelievable way to differentiate yourself. So still now, so few people know about it, and so few people know how to properly use it. If you're using it correctly with headline display ads and landing pages with aesthetically pleasing displays of your different horizontally related products, it's basically like paying one bid price for 4 initial impressions on your headline and then 20 initial impressions on your landing page of all of your different products with paying for 1 click. And it's just ridiculous. And I go through all of that in the course. If you guys, Thomas, I don't know if you've gotten it yet, but if you're interested, I go really in depth on AMS, and it's an incredible tool. I'm from Vegas. We can't wait to see the money team lose, and I screen print for him too. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I heard we always have to run PPC to gain organic rank. Any keyword we put in manual ads and suggested keywords from auto ads will automatically rank up if generate sales. Huge rank up. If you're not generating sales, you won't necessarily, gain huge rank. But if you are generating sales for those keywords, Amazon definitely, increases your organic ranking for that specific keyword. And then if you can sustain, through product quality that same rank, then you're going to be able to maintain that rank. And then once it's a snowball effect, guys, right? I talk about this all the time. If you can get to page 1, right, and you have a high quality product with good reviews and people are buying it, you'll stay on page 1 and then you'll stay having those sales, right? And that's where you want to be. You want to be getting all those organic sales. That's the beauty of Amazon. That's the whole purpose of all of this, right? So if you can get to that top position, hold it, and that's when you're starting to see the real money flow in. Can your product be held by customs if you sell as on Amazon and don't have a business? No, not necessarily. Work that out with your freight forwarder. I like to take shipping completely out of the equation for me. And it's just much easier to do it that way, right? They can act as, your attorney, the power of attorney, right, to get through customs if you don't have a company. If you do have a company, you basically just sign it over. And it's easy enough, right? Just find a freight forwarder you trust, get a couple quotes to see, if they're similar, and then choose the lowest one. Amazon asked me to take out listing because other seller complaint for design patent. How can I understand is that seller is real or fake? I already contacted Amazon but no response. I mean, you should reach out to the person who filed that claim, right? And they'll tell you and they'll provide, that evidence. And if they don't respond, then prove to Amazon they're not responding, and then Amazon will let you back up. For low risk, should I not get Shopify as a beginner and just keep my pro Amazon seller account and drop ship per order? I mean, drop shipping from Amazon is a dangerous game, Tammy. If you get any negative seller metrics affected, from a late shipment or whatever, you can get your account shut down so quickly. Amazon has an incredibly low tolerance for any type of errors or late shipments. So if you want to drop ship, use ClickFunnels and use AliExpress. There's like very little cost to get up and running with that. Where can I find the freight forwarder discount that you're offering? On what module is it under? I'm trying to find it. It's in the common questions document. So I share my freight forwarders with everyone, right? So if you guys are trying to take advantage of that, just say, hey, Kevin referred me, and they'll get you sorted out with really good rates. Currently, I have no sales with PPC, but I only have 2 reviews. If I get a total of 12 reviews, will it make a huge difference or pretty much same results? I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'd have better luck with PPC, but you need to work on the PPC campaigns themselves while simultaneously getting more reviews, and then in unison they'll get you more sales. How many giveaways do you typically give away for a strong product launch? Nathan, I mean, it depends, right? You want to see how many units per day the competitors most related to your product are selling in one day, right? So if the number 1, number 2, number 3 position organically for your top keyword are selling 10 each per day, then you want to give away 12 each per day for 3 to 7 days, and you can almost guarantee that you'll get the new seller badge, hot new trend, or whichever badge you're going for, right? You can almost guarantee you get that, and you can also almost guarantee that you're going to get onto the first page. And then if you have enough reviews and you have a very high quality product, then you're probably going to stay on that page 1. And that's basically how Viral Launch and everyone is doing these product launches that are successful. Can you use terms like for iPad in our listing? No, you actually can't, Tony. Like, you can't use Apple or Google or any of those because they're trademarked, and so you don't want to be using that in your backend keywords or anywhere. Oh my gosh, there's so many questions. I'm gonna go a little bit faster now because it is almost 9 o'clock here on a Friday for me. So I'm gonna try to, get out and see my friends, see the sunlight. How do you set up the add-on purchases that sellers offer? So this was actually shut down, High Def, literally 2 days ago, so we can't do it anymore. Amazon took it away. I currently don't have an Amazon business account set up because I want to avoid the fees. Does that mean that when I use their fulfillment calculator, it's giving me the cost of individual? No, it has nothing to do with that. You're good. As a beginner, I'm doing a general store, but since I'm using AliExpress at first, it will take much longer than bulk. I don't like the idea of drop shipping on Amazon. You're better off just, if you want to drop ship, just use ClickFunnels or whatever, Bluehost, WordPress, and then just use Facebook advertising. How do we prevent our Chinese manufacturer from copying our product and selling it on their own Amazon? This is a good question, but it just doesn't happen as often as you'd think. They could do it, but there's so much complexity with shipping. There's not a lot of great English as far as setting up a good product listing. Product photography is difficult. PPC is difficult. Setting up an optimized listing on the back end is difficult. It's just not something that I think about too much. Are you doing just products or trying to grow a brand? I have multiple accounts. In one account that I plan to sell as a brand account, I have only a brand, and then I have another account that has just high margin products with a general seller name. Are you sending products directly from manufacturer using a prep center? I have my manufacturer's prep, right? So they organize it in a way that Amazon accepts it. They put all the carton labels, put the pallet labels, and ship it out in a way that is accepted by Amazon FBA centers. If the program is going to be shutting down soon, does that mean I shouldn't start doing affiliate marketing for you? No, William, you're good, man. It's not gonna be quite yet. That's millionaire millennial. Goran, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Kevin, you cut your own hair, bud. Mohawks are all the rage, I heard. Yeah. Oh, Millionaire Millennial is the one who said he likes my content. Well, thank you, man. Maybe I'll reach out to him and say thank you. I appreciate when people, recognize all the effort that I'm putting in to, help people work for themselves and never work for the man again. How do you know if a product is premature? From data, from Google Trends, if there's not enough sales, of people who are already on Amazon. If we create a promotion and upsell from 1 to 2 quantity, how do we regulate that? Andy, so they shut this down, Amazon. Can you do vlogs, Rigor? Yeah, I mean, this is a vlog, kind of. I like to answer questions specifically for everyone rather than doing just like a, run-of-the-mill vlog just because it's more helpful, I think. Ooh, take me with you. I always wanted to go to Australia. Arnisha, yeah, you should come. Would you recommend us jumping into the Australian market when it opens, or should we wait and watch for a while? I'm definitely going to be there right when it opens, right? And we've talked about this in my student groups. It's such a big opportunity, especially if you know the Australian market. And there's different ways to use Google keywords and Google Trends and looking at Australian e-commerce sites to know which products would be a good one to be kind of the first mover in. And so it's definitely a huge opportunity, and I'm going to be right there. Hey, Cena Bays, how are you? Yeah, you're welcome for doing the Q&A. What are your thoughts on conducting product research around Prime Day by considering huge increase in sales for most products that may skew the decision on a profitable product? Yeah, I mean, this is always something you have to be careful of, Dustin. It's a good question. I mean, you can't ever look at a point in time when you're doing product research. That's why I always say establish a trend, right? Look at 7 days. With the product tracker, look at 30 days, right? Because there's going to be a huge spike on Prime Day for basically everyone, right? Because there's going to be millions and millions of eyes on Amazon that day. Yo, love your content. My FBA business needs help. I have 2 campaigns, 1 manual. Yeah, man. I mean, if you have 48 and 53 clicks with only 1 purchase, that could mean a lot about the listing itself. It could mean a lot about the pictures. It could mean a lot about your PPC campaigns. It could mean a lot about your reviews, right? I need to know more to be able to answer that. But take a look into those 4 things, and you should be all right. Are super URLs still legal? Yeah, they're legal, but they just don't work anymore. What are some of your favorite niches? Rachel, that's a good question, right? I might save the answer to that one for the students, just because that's a great question, right? But I mean, if you watch my videos, you can see which overarching categories I like looking at, right? Because some categories just inherently are less gated, less regulated. You're not going to come, you're not going to get that dreaded email from Amazon saying your listing shut down for some hazmat concern, right? So there's certain things I like looking at, and just check out the videos because I'm really transparent with all that. Hey Kev, what's your auto campaign strat when you first launch your product? I mean, I like to just leave auto campaigns on like $5 to $20 a day forever, right? They're a waste of money compared to manual campaigns. They're basically just keyword mining tools, to get some random long tails that are associated with a broad match. Like, right, you have 1 word and you have a broad match that has like a 5 string long keyword long tail that you get as a customer search exact, right? That's matched to your broad match campaign, and you never would have gotten that if you weren't running. Seth Neap says, don't try to find a product to sell, try to find a market to sell in. What do you think about it? Yeah, I mean, when you're finding a product, it's important to do a competitive landscape analysis, right? So when you find a cool looking product on Jungle Scout, I always tell my students, right, that's not enough. You have to look at the highest volume keyword associated with that product. You have to type that keyword into Amazon.com. You have to look at the landscape of the results, right? The top organic results related to that keyword. And if everyone has 1,000 reviews, but this one random person has 50 reviews, then it's probably not the best one to go into, right? But if everybody has 16, 40, 30, right, then they're all doing sales that are spread out among all of the top competitors, then it's definitely worth looking at. Keep doing what you do. Hit the like button, guys. Thanks, Mike. Is Jungle Scout the best for researching? Yeah, it definitely is. They just have so much more data, right? And they're doing a great job with a 30-man team, right? A lot of the other people who are copying Jungle Scout just have Jungle Scout just has such a huge amount of data, like as a head start. And Greg's just such a smart guy. So yes, it absolutely is the best. Options on Tanner Fox. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Nick, but let me know and I'll answer it. Thanks, much love answering questions from YouTube, my ninja. Yeah, you're welcome, High Def. How do people sell products with patents? Can you talk about that a little? What happens if you do and get caught? Don't sell products that have patents, Shalom. I mean, that's why you're doing the patent research before you jump in. Seth Neap is full of shit. His store is called Virtus Industries. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have read that out loud. No, I mean, I've never watched Seth's stuff, but I'm sure, if he has a following and people are liking it and they're being successful, then I'm sure he's doing a fine job. I like it more when they actually do the research and explain why the research is correct. Yeah. Straight Edge Innovations. Lol, that's Tanner's friends. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't read that out loud either. Yeah, I'm sure Tanner's doing a great job too. Okay, there's still like 100 questions. So I'm going to do 5 more minutes. I'm going to try to zoom through some of these. What do you think about dropshipping? Rachel, I mean, dropshipping is great. With people who have that have very little capital up front, dropshipping is a huge option. If you hit the niche right and you get the advertising on Facebook right and you have your products right and you have your sales funnel right, you can make a ton of money that way too. What's the best way to put FNSQ barcodes on products? Just print it as a sticker or put it right on the packaging. I'm from Japan. I want to take your course, so can you guide me to sell on Amazon Japan? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities, right? Amazon Japan, if you know Japan, then, you can do that market better than people who don't know it from the USA, right? And Japan's a newer market, so there's a lot of opportunity there. Yeah, so reach out to me if you want to talk more. What marketing campaign is best to work for you for your first page PPC? I mean, if you want to get on the first page to show on the first page, you basically have to do a phrase or exact match and turn bid plus on, right? And I talk about that a ton in my PPC course. Yeah, I agree with that, Goran. It would be nice. Okay, not dropshipping anymore. Yeah, sorry to bust your bubble, but I mean, Amazon will shut you down so quick for even one little error, right? And you can't always control it if the supplier has something, messed up as far as the, number of days to fulfill and things like that. How do you communicate with new manufacturers on Alibaba? I mean, I have a supplier template that I give all my students exactly what I use, right? I always try to move the conversation to Skype. It saves you a lot of time. Is there a discount coupon for your full course? Yeah, there actually is. It's in the description of this live stream. PPC mod is fire, bro. Thanks, Brian. Can you do a live stream for members in the course? Yeah, I definitely will. I try to do that. Normally I do the live stream and answer questions specifically for the students, but I couldn't get it to actually work on Facebook Live. I don't know if they had like a server down or something, but the next time I do it, will definitely be 100% for students, and then I'll answer questions on YouTube if there's ever like a lapse between student questions, because from now on I always will be doing student-driven Q&As, because that's the whole point, right? I want to make sure that all of my students get every single one of their questions answered and feel completely comfortable with the whole process. Biggest advantage that ClickFunnels has over lead pages? I mean, membership pages. ClickFunnels has so much integration, and they're just such a nice company. I mean, I have a huge amount of confidence in them, and they're literally, fulfilling every need I have using them as a membership portal, as sales pages for my coupon distributions, drop shipping, right? There's just so much there. When you say never work for the man again, are you talking about a 9-to-5 boss? Yeah, absolutely. I never want anyone to ever tell me what to do. When you close the course, will you reopen it again in the future? Asan, yeah, maybe. I haven't thought about that yet, but I definitely would think about it. I mean, I'm adding new content every week, right? Every day. Whenever I find something that's really cool and new and I think could help people, I'm adding it straight into the membership. So and those are all free. Once you are a member of the course, right, you're always going to get updates to the full course. If you're a member of just a module, you'll always get the updates related to that specific module. So you're never going to get charged again. It's just that one-time fee. What's the average age of your students? I mean, Michelle, I don't know, to be honest, but we have 17-year-olds, we have a 15-year-old, we have single dads that are 50, we have a couple people that are in their 60s and 70s. So I mean, it's a really beautiful thing, like bringing all these people together. Opinions on Tanner Fox. How do you equate yourself based on knowledge? I think Tanner's a really good marketer. He's done a great job with his affiliate program. It's impressive the type of course sales he's been able to do. As far as his Amazon knowledge, I've never taken his course, so I can't speak to that. But ask around. I'm sure some people have. May have missed it. In BSR and Camel based solely on ranking revenue of each product and category. Could you rephrase that? Oh my gosh, there's so many questions still. Sorry. Okay, 2 more minutes. Hey Kev, you have anyone that can ungate from gated categories on Amazon? Ramina, yeah, actually I do. So reach out to me on Facebook. I can hook you up with the person who I use to ungate. Super quick and pretty easy. I found a product and that keyword showed a patent, but I see at least 15 to 20 other people selling them. I mean, that's a unfortunate part of Amazon. I remember thinking the exact same thing, Shalom, but like, you don't want to always be in fear that you're going to get shut down, right? So it's just not worth it. There's so many products out there that aren't patented and are hugely profitable that you just don't need to take that risk. You don't always want to be worried that Amazon's going to shut you down. Kev, what do you think? What do you have on the Jungle Scout Millionaire case study that is pretty fire? Yeah, definitely. I mean, Greg puts out the best stuff. He's a great guy. He's super smart. He has a booming Amazon business. Anything that he puts out, I watch myself, and it was an honor and obviously so much fun being able to talk to him. He was the original person that mentored me in Amazon FBA. So I mean, anything that he puts out is definitely worth watching. What are you doing tonight, man? I'm about to go out in like literally 1 minute. Do you do affiliate marketing too? I seen your ad pop on my Facebook timeline. Yeah, it's not really affiliate marketing though if it's your own product, but also yeah, I did try affiliate marketing. I basically have tried everything. I tried monetizing blogs. I made an iOS game for for your iPhone. I've literally tried every possible way to never work for someone again ever, and I finally found it with Amazon FBA. Go get drunk, bro. Thanks. All right, last questions. I'll take 3 more. Do you ever go into a private label where Amazon is selling their own line of product like the seller's AMZ? Yeah, definitely, Jesse. I mean, Amazon doesn't love their products like we do, right? They're not going to continually iterate and update their product photos. They're not going to split test prices. They're not going to change their titles based on PPC, good selling or, highly profitable PPC words. They're not going to continue updating, the back end to make their products, continue to rank, right? So you have a big advantage because you care more about your products and you love your products, that Amazon is this huge beast that just can't devote the same amount of love and time to their own products as you can. What does your course have on that case study I meant? I mean, my course goes super in depth, right? The case study is great. I've watched it, but for people out there who want, A to Z with all of the tricks, all of the advanced stuff, going through it step by step with sharing my screen, explaining things, offering creativity in ways that you can differentiate yourself, right? With the one-on-one support where you can reach out to me and say, yo, Kev, like I'm in the course, I'm having a problem with this, this, and this. Do you have any ideas, right? And we can work together, right? Greg is a super busy guy. All of his stuff is amazing, but he doesn't have time to answer questions, where I've devoted, a lot of hours a day specifically to answering all of my students' questions. All right, guys, that was the last question. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you guys had fun. We'll do this again soon, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. We'll see you soon.